Hi guys, Fernandes Limbo on the grid.
Yeah.
Another exhilarating episode.
In
Hey,
France.
before we look back briefly at last week and maybe a couple of games on Friday, you wrote a story. Actually, it was a fait accompli. I wrote it several months ago when the proposal was first put forth. New playoff format, 14-2 vote goes into effect next season. Just break it down a little bit for.
Well, basically, classes 1A through 4A, no more districts. It's going to be 4 teams per region, advancing all by points. 5A through 8A, they're keeping districts intact, but only the district champions now are guaranteed a spot, and the wild cards, 4 from each region, are going by points. Basically, what it is the better a team's record is, you get that many more points for beating them. For example, if for Venice, they beat Manatee this year. If Manatee wins 8 games, that means Venice in next year's format gets the top 50 points. So that's how they do it. You get all the points, divide by 10 at the end of the season, and your top 8 point getters in 1A through 4A go to the playoffs, and then the other 4 point getters in the 5A through 8A are the wild cards.
They want to get the most deserving teams, right? They know some districts, some second place finishers maybe don't deserve to be there, right?
Right, and also too, this rewards strength of schedule.
Right.
In the summer, I wrote a column saying I think it has flaws. I think it still does.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
But what I do like about it is 2 things. One, every game means something now.
Right.
We've talked about weeks if there's no district games. No more of that. Every single week, every game means something. And number 2, now with the home field in the playoffs, it's a lot more. It's a lot more reasonable. Right now, it's bottom bracket, top bracket.
Sure.
Now they're going to seed the teams 1 through 8 in each region. If you're a 1 seed, that as long as you keep playing the regional playoffs, you're going to be home. So if it's a 3 against a 5, the 3's home, and that I think is the best part of it. That in the playoffs now, home field is not just what side of the bracket you on. It's just what seed you have in your region.
Yeah, I'm sure as we go forward and come playoff time, we all want to see competitive matchups.
Right.
When you get to that level, you want to see close games, and I think that's what they're trying to ensure.
Yeah, and like I said, the regular season. I mean, now the Palmetto Manatee game, for example, is going to be even more now. The Venice Manatee game, all these games that are just kind of fun rivalry games. That are pretty much, in a sense, exhibition games. They're not going to have postseason implications, and that is by far, to me, the best point of all this. Like I said, there are still things I don't like about it. I don't like that your success hinges on someone else's record, but no system's perfect. As Frank Beasley said, he put this thing together for the FHSAA, but I think this is a much more exciting system, and next year we'll see how it goes. It goes into effect 2017.
Obviously, by the vote 14-2 was pretty much almost unanimous. So obviously, they think it's a step forward.
Yeah.
Let's look back on last week. Light schedule, not a heck of a lot of meaningful games, but you were at one of them. You were at Riverview Palm Harbor
only
District
really
game,
meaningful,
really the only one.
Yeah.
Riverview really sort of put themselves behind the 8 ball with that loss. Let's talk about that loss, 35-30.
Very winnable game for the Rams. Penalties wiped off 2 touchdowns, with the one that would have been the game winner. Also knocked off a key 2-point conversion that they got. Would have made it a 3-point game in the last 3 minutes. Palm Harbor had 3 onside kick returns. Their kicker, Hayden Schuster, would have these great high bounces, and they got 3 of them back. And Palm Harbor's quarterback, Cameron Mouton, Riverview really couldn't put a handle on him. He was slippery. He was pesky. So, yeah, definitely a big defeat for Riverview. Like I said, it was a very winnable game, and now they really got to win out to have a shot. Now, if this was next season, maybe they wouldn't have to. Maybe they'd lose 1 or 2 games, get a wild card spot. But in this last year, this format, I don't think more than 1 loss gets you in the playoffs in that district.
And I was at Braden Christian, made a trip up to Bradenton and watch Alan Gerber's team. They only have 24, 25 players.
That's tough.
Have to go both ways. And as the game went on, a lot of cramping, no backups. And
especially in the way it's been hot it's been, too.
Yeah, it's been hot a bit. They lost 57-35. But we talked about your story. I'll have a story next week on the father-son coaching tandem in the area, Alan Gerber and his son Brett.
Right.
So I'll be looking forward to that story next week. Apparently the kid can either, we talked about it, he's so smart, he's a Mensa student, he can either good enough for Harvard and Yale and good enough for schools like Wake Forest. South Florida has already offered him. So if you're Brett Gerber, you have the best of both worlds going there.
Those are 2 nice options.
Very nice, very nice
like
options.
I told you, I'd if it was my son, I'd maybe push him a little more toward Harvard and Yale. But, I don't think there's any wrong choice you can make.
Right. It matters how much football really means to him, whether he wants to, just use that as an Ivy School level.
And like I said, too, if you can get a college scholarship to play football at a really good education, that's not a bad option either. So it's nice. It's nice to have those options. I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't mind being in Rick Gerber's spot right now.
Actually, Ray Woody is the one who kind of offered him contact, so he was very impressed with Coach Woody and the program they have going up on the USFL.
Ray Woody, known as one of the best recruiters around
very
in
good.
College football. I think he was named at Western Kentucky. I think he was the conference's best recruiter a couple years in a row. So he's got a way.
I always like talking to Ray. Just a solid,
hard guy not to like.
Solid guy.
Yeah.
District matchups again on Friday. Just talk about the game you'll be at.
I'm going to Venice, Sarasota at Venice.
Right.
In fact, Venice is my lock of the week.
Right.
I think they're playing really, really well right now. I think they're on a roll. They're the hottest team right now in the area, one of the hottest teams in the state. They're home. I think they keep rolling. I think they'll be 2-0 in district when that's all said and done.
You know, we talked about stories. We like to tout what goes on HT Preps. A couple of days ago, I did a story on Kyle Johnson, who is the offensive lineman for Venice. Had surgery for Crohn's disease back in February, bounced back. He's 10 pounds heavier. And I checked the rushing stats of Venice. They've already rushed for 20 touchdowns and 1,300 yards rushing, a lot with him pulling. So, yeah, I think it may be a long night for Sarasota, and I love, Coach Rosen, and I love everybody on the Sailors team.
Right.
It's going to be a tough matchup.
Yeah, right now I think Venice is a lot better right now than Sarasota. No easier way to put it. And I think them, Braden River, and Palmetto should be interesting. I think right now, if I had to pick, I'd say Venice is the best team in that district. But, Braden River hasn't lost a regular season game in about 3 years. So it's going to be fun going down the road in that district with those three teams duking it out.
Isn't Braden River still on top of our poll?
I believe so. Yeah.
Which it may stay that way until.
Yeah. Well, like I said, haven't lost a regular season game in quite a while. I mean, they've beat Venice twice last season. So, the burden of proof is kind of on Venice now to try and right that and beat Braden River. But I think that's going to be a mammoth game and could be one of the best games in the state that night.
I will be at the Something's Gotta Give Bowl Friday night. I will be a Booker at Bayshore. You got two winless teams. Bayshore has not scored a point in their games. Booker's only scored 18 points in the last 3 games.
Right.
But you talked about the troubles that Bayshore have. I am going with Booker as my lock of the week, only because I may not pick the Tornadoes the rest of the year as my lock of the week.
Right.
Duke Atkins, I'm reading his quotes. The team isn't still focusing on the little things, which, as you know, that's what contributes to wins.
Yeah.
Whether it's missed tackles, not making individual plays.
Right.
He's really going to get that program turned around. But I'm going for Booker as my lock of the week, and so go Tornadoes. Any other games on the docket that Steinbrenner's at Manatee, you got Ranch at Palmetto, Island Coast at Charlotte should be an easy walkover game.
They're all district games, but I think they're all kind of games that are fairly predictable.
Right.
I think Manatee will beat Steinbrenner. I think Palmetto will win. I think it's going to be last season where it's going to be Palmetto, Braden River, and Venice, in that district going down to the wire. The district games, but not a whole lot of really intriguing matchups this week.
Do we have some going forward?
Going forward, we most surely do. Riverview losing took a bite off the Manatee Riverview game. That's in a couple of weeks. But like I said, I think Braden River Venice is going to be outstanding. I think that might be one of the best games in the state that night, not just in our area. Looking forward to that one. And also Palmetto plays Braden River and Venice. And I think Braden River and Venice right now are a step ahead of Palmetto. But if Palmetto wins on Friday, they're 2-0 in district, and they're still in the thick of it. So
we always I like to praise Palmetto because they got a brand new quarterback, focusing on running the ball. Dave Marino does a great job up there, but you're right, they're in a tough district.
They really are.
Behind the 8 ball like that.
And I know Coach Marino, I read in your story, and he even put on Twitter yesterday, he's a big fan of the new playoff system, because it benefits a team like his.
Sure.
Because they might be the 3rd best team in this district. So they could be the best team in another district. So so the new playoff system might help a team like Palmetto next year going forward.
Yeah, he very much was in favor of when I wrote the original story earlier. So we got a lot of district games to review next week. Looking ahead, who knows what pops up in the upcoming days. So we'll get that covered here.
And also tonight, I'll be covering volleyball. Ranch at Riverview Rams. Riverview beat Venice last week. They're also the top-ranked team in 9A.
Sure.
So check on Herald-Tribune.com, some video, a story, and look for that.
Not just football.
No, a whole lot of good sports.
We're equal opportunity representatives here. So for On the Grid, Lembo, Fernandez, we'll see you next week.